Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new hardware review today with a mouse, namely this one, the Gamdias Zeus P1 RGB Optical Gaming Mouse, sent to me by the people at Gamdias to review and to keep around forever and ever, and I'd like to thank them for this opportunity. One very important thing to note is that I just realized I kind of made a bit of a mistake in the last mouse review and maybe a couple of the mice reviews in the past, because for some reason I kept thinking to myself, well, if it's invisible, I mean the beam, it's gotta be laser, right? No. Infrared. They're infrared, lights. Whatchamacallit, not the sensor itself can be infrared because the sensor is CMOS most of the time. It's the beam itself. It's optical, it can be invisible because it's infrared, but it's not always a laser. I've made that mistake a couple of times in the past and I'm sorry about it. I'm gonna try and not do it again. Now that that's taken care of, let's see what this thing is actually cracked up to be. The first thing I like to point out about this mouse is the size. It's great, and I mean, this fits my hand. Well, it fits it great because of the size. Not superbly crazy about the shape. It could have been a bit more skewed to one side, like the older the Genius Optical Scroll mouse was, and I think A4 Tech makes a similar design. But in terms of size, it is superb. Like it makes the Heron, which I switch back to, seem tiny and insignificant by comparison. So if you're a person that has a big hand, then this may be a very comfortable mouse for you. It also is built with quite a lot of rubber, and I mean quite a lot. I mentioned it on the Laban mouse. There was mention of it having rubber on the surface, and I didn't actually find any. It's unmistakable that this one has rubber. I mean, half of it is rubber. Like everything from here down all the way to the other side is just rubber, and it's textured rubber. If you can see it properly on one of the, either in this camera or in the background, it's the kind of texture rubber that makes it quite grippy and also helps prevent sweating. But it is also because of the hexagonal pattern to it, it also is a magnet for dirt. So I hope you clean your hands quite often, otherwise you're gonna be stuck with gunk in this one, and you're gonna have some adventures cleaning it out. I mean, you're gonna have to wash it constantly, so better just wash your hands. It's more hygienic that way. In terms of build quality, it is, like I said, quite nice. So it doesn't have rubber on the front because why would it? I mean, it's just the front plastic thing. The sensor is all the way up here, which is well, not always where you see sensors, but yeah, it's well placed. The thing that really I have to say I enjoy about the way this mouse is built is well, it's buttons, but I'm gonna get to that soon. Firstly, I gotta say that in terms of lighting, this mouse does feature full RGB, programmable RGB lighting. It's got about, I think there's LED here. It's got a bunch of them. It's got a bunch of LEDs that you can program to display any light you wish. You can have them display, rainbow effects where the colors circulate in each and every direction. Apart from this thing, this LED here, this cannot be changed. This one is programmed to always have a certain color depending on the DPI setting you're currently using. And I really like that because there's no confusion anymore. On some of my older mice, like the Heron back here, it can always be some confusion so exactly on what step of the DPI are you in right now, because all the colors shift, and this one shifts, the one in the middle also shifts, but this one is constant. Here you'll always see the exact DPI, the exact light for the DPI setting you are on, and you can set it to pretty much be anything you would want in the settings in the Hero software, and you will always have exactly what you want basically. So yeah, it's a nice design. The LEDs themselves, they look quite nice. They're I would say pretty much on the same level as the Laban in terms of brightness and quality. And there's I'm not sure if you can see properly, but there's two strips. Like there's the top strip right here that's pretty much just like the Laban one had, and there's a bottom one as well. The bottom one isn't as bright because it's narrower and it doesn't really show up that much light, but it's a very nice effect. It's quite pretty. The wheel doesn't light up. I mean, it doesn't light up brightly like the other ones, but just has some indirect light, if I remember right. Now, in terms of buttons, side ones are fine. They have this really big gash between them, so you will not have the problem of accidentally pressing one and the other at the same time because they are clearly defined. Though if you're just holding your finger like down here, you may not necessarily feel it properly. So my suggestion is that you always keep the your finger, your thumb on right in this area, so you can press both of them. You can pretty much press them from any direction. They press down quite nice. That goes for all the buttons. The switches, I believe they are Huano switches. You don't actually get any information about the mouse from its manual. I had to scroll through pretty much everything I could find on the web. I actually found the information I was looking for from someone that just took this apart and snapped pictures of the innards of it. I didn't take it apart because I would be afraid that I may not be able to put it back together properly. But yeah, it has Huano switches, which they've been okay for me. I've heard people having problems with them in games like StarCraft for some reason, where you have to click constantly like a bajillion times a second, and then not having resilience, or maybe that was a normal older model. But I've actually not had problems with them. You do feel a bit of a difference in terms of how hefty they are, how heavy they. It's actually kind of a bit of a hard to actually convey into words, but they feel a tiny bit heavier than the switches that the Heron has. I think the Heron may have had Omron, not sure, but yeah, they're still quite fine. Like they work properly, they work fine, they work well, and I've actually been using this mount for almost a month, and I've been using it to play pretty much everything I have. I've been using it for work, and the clicks have not failed. So again, yeah, this also has a leg up on the what was it, $100, $200 Mad Catz one that came with broken switches from the box. So yeah, that's a good thing. And also, a very important thing to note, you may see this thing here, like on the top of it, like there's forward, backward, up, down, forward, backward, name it what you will. And there's there's an extension here in the pattern. You see, oh yeah, these are just, they're plastic bits, they're not switches. Well, yeah, the bottom one, that's not a button, that's not a switch. The other one is. I just cannot tell you how happy I am to see this, because there's an extra button here. By default, this is set to DPI cycle, meaning that you press it, it'll go from the DPI you are now, up, then cycle down, then from low to up, and you can pretty much just leave this one to DPI and use the other ones for something else. So this is sort of what I've been really looking forward into in the mouse, like a DPI switch that's a dual bidirectional DPI switch that can be changed to something else and still have an extra button for DPI itself. It's wondrous. It's magnificent. I really like it. I get a lot of use out of it. Setting macros, setting all sorts of other buttons on, MechWarrior and stuff. It's a neat button to have because it pretty much just frees up these two, letting you have functionality that would normally be limited to the kind of mice that has more side buttons, usually very poorly placed out side buttons. Now they may not be the most accessible. Well, this one isn't because it's the DPI one, the one usually for DPI. But the other ones are pretty much positioned well enough so that you will be able to use them in games when you're in a very frantic firefight, or when you're trying to not be squished by an Atlas just jumping on your face from up high and shooting missiles and rockets at you, because now they have rockets, why wouldn't they? Yeah, in terms of button layout, I'm happy with it. Like, this is really good. It may not be great if you're left-handed, unless you train your left hand to. You probably already learn how to press side buttons with the ring finger. Otherwise, it is actually even if you're left-handed and you can't reach these, because of the DPI cycle button that can be used for DPI cycling, you can still use these two as forward and backward. So that's actually a bonus there, right there. Hadn't thought of it up until now. Yeah, button layout, I'm very happy with this. Very happy. Now comes for the performance of the mouse itself in terms of accuracy and all that jazz. The sensor, again, had no idea what it was up until I saw pictures of the sensor. It's a Pixart PMW 3336 sensor, which I've read up is sort of an offshoot of the 3360, which itself is an offshoot of the 3330. think. It's the sensor itself goes from 600 to 10,800, and a minimal of 50 dpi steps, which is not actually what this does. This one goes from 200 to 12,000 and bumps of about 100 or 200, I believe. I'm not exactly sure. I should have written that down, but still, it may use some software magic to get the maximum amount of 12,000 and the minimum amount of 200. But still, in the range that I actually used it on, you know, from between 800 and about 5,000 sometimes, it worked like quite well. There was just one thing that kept nagging me. I'm not sure if this was just if it was the mouse or if it was just because I neglected to clean the gamepad, but there was after it was static for a while, it seemed to have a bit of a delay when starting back up, I mean when moving it. But again, I was not, after cleaning the mousepad, I was not actually able to get an accurate reproduction of my initial feeling about the mouse, about the it not completely waking up instantly when you moved it. So it may have just been the gamepad being filled with gunk and not properly cleaned, but now it is. So yeah, I think it was just my imagination combined with a dirty mousepad. In terms of performance in games, I have not had issues with it. I've been playing well, pretty much everything I could with it. It's a good high-endish performance mouse. It does whatever it says it does on the box. Like, again, it does go to 12,000, maybe through some software magic, but it works. Like, it just works. I've had no problems with it tracking, I have no problems with it slowing down, I have no problems with it having acceleration. Though if you want acceleration, you can set that in the Hera software. One thing to note is that you cannot modify the axis individually. You just have the X and Y axis on the same DPI. Also, you cannot set things like lift distance as you could on the Laban mouse. But yeah, it's not something that everybody actually needs to set the lift distance. To me, it felt okay. I'm not sure about other people. They may play in other ways that I don't, so they may need a customizable lift distance. It was fine for me by default as it was either way. It also has all the jazz with going up to 1000 Hz in the polling rate, and in the Hera software you can customize pretty much everything you want. You have the ability to set the lighting, you have the ability to set macros. Again, because of the extra button, you have basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you don't use DPI at all, like if you just have one DPI setting, you can pretty much have 5 programmable buttons here, which is quite fun. Also, in case you don't know what DPI you are on, you can actually set the Hero software to show you. You can pretty much set one of these things to be a button, so it'll show you on the screen as an OSD, as an on-screen display, exactly what you had set to each and every button, and it's quite fine. Also, I didn't crash the mouse once using the Hero software, so it works a bit better than it did with the keyboard. I mean, when the keyboard it only crashed once, but yeah, it was a strange thing. No such issues with this one, and I did tinker it quite a lot. Also has the other stuff that the keyboard had, namely you can put alarms and timers on the mouse buttons if you want to. But mainly you'll probably use it to set macros, to set different keys that you would want to have more at your fingertips, and I mean on your thumbs maybe, not on the fingertips that you would use normally on your keyboard. So all in all, the Gamdias Zeus P1 is actually a really neat mouse. It costs about $80, which may be out of the price range of most people. Well, most people, by most people I say most people are living around here, but a lot of people could probably still afford it. It's not the most expensive gaming mouse, but it's solid, and I mean really solid. I've had no issues with it. It fits my hand kind of well. Again, I wish the shape was a bit more lopsided a bit, but it does fit my hand well. The size is very much appreciated. The rubber on it is actually making it feel like it is quite very high quality. The matte finish on it will pretty much guarantee that you won't leave any fingerprints. You may have some issues cleaning. I mean, it requires a bit more effort to clean it, but still it's nice. didn't mention the wheel because it's a standard wheel. It's not one of those that can be customized to fly off the handle if you want to. Pretty much just have the standard resistance for it. The buttons, I love them. I wish more mice would have extra buttons here so you can pretty much be free to use the other ones as you would wish. The LEDs, they are very colorful, very customizable, and they are very bright. You can set them to be as bright as you want to, by the way, but they look very nice. They look like they can output 16 million colors. Still kind of doubt what the other one can do. The Heron, keep confusing with the Hera. They kind of have similar names. It's kind of annoying. And well, oh yeah, it has a braided cable too with a gold-plated USB connector, which helps for wear and tear, I believe. The braid is, braidish. It really doesn't matter all that much, but I don't have the cat anymore, so I can't do the cat test, which is probably all the best because, I mean, you don't want to see a cat destroying a mouse. So maybe you would. I should get the cat back. Well, there's many different cats outside. I could probably throw the mouse at them and see if they bite. No, I probably shouldn't do that. They'll probably get upset. So is it worth it? In my opinion, yeah. I mean, 80 bucks again is not the highest price we've had for a mouse. We've had the Mad Catz one, which cost, oh boy, how much was that thing? It was like I think it was 200 bucks. It was about 4 or 5 times the price of this one in local currency. So yeah, compared to that one, this is an absolute bargain and an absolute gem. It is a really good mouse. Well, this would be it for the review of the Gamdias Zeus P1 RGB Optical gaming mouse. It's actually written right here at the back, so I wouldn't get it confused again with something else. that was kind of embarrassing. And I'm gonna be back soon with more reviews, more shows, and other stuff. I think the next hardware review is gonna be of a pair of headphones, maybe, or a keyboard. I'm not sure which one is gonna arrive first. Or, I don't know, maybe I'll review something else that's around here. I don't know. Anybody want to see a review of a pure dragon? I've not been able to clean this since I have kept it in storage for about 2 years. But yeah, it's a nice dragon. Well, gonna see you again soon with more shows, so stay tuned. Goodbye.